Exclamation, everybody, and welcome to Ancient Frontier. Tactical sci-fi game. That's about all I could say about it. I've played about 2 hours. I'm not very far in the game. It's not really holding my attention too much. It's by Fairweather Studios, LLC. It's currently 25% off at $18.74, normally $19.99, I believe. And it's fully released out on Steam. It's it's boring. Let's just come out and say it. It's boring. It's also got a lot of BS in it. And I'll try to navigate you as much as I can here. But basically, let's start out, first of all, with my gripes about the tutorial. It's not a show me tutorial, it's a tell me tutorial. So by that I mean, instead of actually showing you how to do things, it just tells you. And it tells you in a very long and drawn out way. Let's just click on it so you can kind of see. And also, tons of loading screens. Just loading screens in the weirdest of places. And I don't know why. Like, it'll load if I go to the research thing and I come back to the mission screen. It's very, very strange loading screens that take a interesting amount of time.
Yeah, I'll get you next time.
Want to play again?
So this is the tutorial, my friends. It's more of a lore introduction than anything else.
From here, you can review all of the ships
in
your
fleet.
It's
going through all the fleet stuff, the store.
Screen, you can click on the button in the side menu.
And
the first
game
thing
screen.
to understand is the turn order.
And
ships
it's just
move one at a time in initiative
very,
order, and
very
each
long.
ship only gets one turn per round. The turn order is randomized each round, but the higher the initiative of a ship, the more likely it will go first in a round.
So we're just going to go back to the main menu. I just wanted to let you know. I just wanted to show you that the tutorial is just basically just a long-running video. I let it run while I was watching something else, and just like half listening to it. And half the time I was just kind of yelling at it, like, "All right, get to the point already," or "I got it, let's move on," that kind of thing. It's just they've gone to great lengths to really flesh out the lore. In fact, there's a whole menu option just for lore here, to the detriment of the product. I mean, I like lore as much as the next guy, but it's a freaking tutorial. Just get to the freaking point and just tell me what you gotta do. In fact, it's much better if you just show me what you want to do. In fact, the first mission of the game has you in a simulated battle, right? During that, they could have introduced all the concepts and had it make sense right in one package without all the, let's go play a game of poker. Oh, you want some more poker? Okay, let's go talk about fleet management. Here's your fleet. It's like, just shut the F up and just let me do it at my own pace. And just like, you have the first mission that is just set for that, like the simulator missions, and you'll get to use them. If I go into load game here, you'll see I've been playing the Alliance. There's two factions. There's the Alliance and the Federation. I haven't played any of the Federation yet. I can't imagine it's any more interesting than the Alliance campaign. I figured the Alliance campaign would be interesting because, like, oh, Myers and colonists out in the frontier and they want to just do stuff, rather than the Federation campaign, which is like, we're going to stomp on everybody that we can find. I figured this would be more interesting. I have no idea. I'll try during this playthrough to play a little bit of Federation campaign, but if I start getting bored, we're going to cut it short. Anyway, let's load the game and I'll show you what I've been playing on beginner difficulty, and there's a reason for that. Trust me. I tried the normal difficulty, and I had my ass handed to me in the first mission. The first mission is a simulated mission, and I had my ass handed to me. I'm like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. So what happens here as it loads up you get a fleet. Now, the UI in this game is serviceable. It's not really the best way that you could do the UI in this game, but like I said, it's serviceable. It once you get used to it, it's kind of okay. The thing is, you've got your resources up here. You got Hydrium, which is used to build and repair ships. You've got Proto Energy, which is used to actually deploy. It's basically your deployment. You know, you get this whole fleet, and I've bought a few ships here. You start out with a little bit smaller fleet, and then to deploy these out into the battlefield, it costs Proto Energy. Now, because I'm in beginner mode, I got more than enough Proto Energy to last me. In the normal mode, it's you have to balance your resources a little bit more. Like, you're not going to be able to deploy all your fighters all the time, or all your ships all the time. And then you get data, which is used to purchase. It's used to do research, which then allows you to purchase additional equipment and whatnot. And this is basically your credits. I mean, Hydrium is basically your credits. It allows you to purchase stuff as you go along there. And here's all the deployment costs of this guy, the Rondo, who is it's a harvester ship, so he's basically only useful. He has no offensive weapons. It's just useful to move around the battlefield and collect Hydrium and other resources. That's basically the entire job of this. You can see everything gets XP points, so everything can level up and all that stuff. He'll never have any kills, but you can see how it kind of levels up that way. This is our main ship, the Pandora. You can see they're at level 2 already. I had 3 kills on them. And here's the deployment costs. 7 Proto Energy to deploy it. And hull, shield points, initiative, which we'll talk about in a moment. You heard it a little bit in the tutorial. I'll talk about it a little bit more because this is the most BS thing I've ever seen. quite possibly the most BS thing I've ever seen. Your dodge and your critical chances, and then all of your abilities. These are your weapons and other things. Your special abilities, basically. You do have weapons. You have a heavy auto cannon and stuff like that, but these are your special abilities, which you end up wanting to use these more than anything else because you're pretty much infinite for the most part. Some of these are like, this is an infinite use count. This you can only use 4 times, but it refreshes after every battle. So I mean, after every campaign, you know what I mean, like map. And then here's our damage currently and our attack range and all that stuff. So, and then we get down to other things. We got the Melville here, which is a steel clad, which I still don't know what that means. I guess it's kind of a frigate, I guess. I don't know why they don't bother saying like this is a frigate, this is a cruiser, because those things actually make sense. These are just random words here. Your hammerhead is steel clad frigate. So these are like frigates, right? I mean, they say steel clad frigate, but I don't know, whatever. You got this is a mercenary ship, and cannot be renamed because it's a mercenary ship. I guess it's a special mercenary ship that you just come across. Maverick Wing, these are our fighters. The fighters are good. This is like anti-escort, so they're pretty good. These guys are also fighters, but they're explorers. So they're used to, you don't use these guys offensively. You use them to just uncover the fog of war as you're going around the map, and they can also pick up stuff on the map as well. So you're not really going to see any kills on these guys. Though they do get XP for doing, using their abilities and stuff like that. So that's our fleet. Here's the equipment we have. We've got, the last mission gave me another superior coil here. And the thing with equipment is, every piece of equipment you pick up has got a downside to it. So this one takes critical defense off and energy deployment costs off of this, the Spade Wing. Every single one of them does. So it's not, even though I get an extra dodge on this thing, everything's going to have a downfall. Like this one will have, it'll give me additional 2 shield damage, but it will also cost 8 more energy. So I could put that actually on this guy here since he's got nothing else. Just drag that over and deploy it. because these guys need their shields as much as possible, since they're not really offensive fighters. And then you can go to buy ships here. All these costs various amounts of stuff, like hydrium. This one costs 375 hydrium and 50 proto-energy, things like that. Some of them might cost some research points. I haven't found any yet, but it's possible. So we got more explorer wings, gunship wings. We got another Alliance steelclad. We got an Alliance cruiser that we could buy. It's got 55 hull and 25 shield. That's actually not too bad, so I might do that just to flesh out my fleet a little bit. And then under research, you can see our research tree. Now, this is where the UI is just strange, and this is where the UI kind of works against you. This is the research tree for equipment. This is the research tree for fighters. Specifically, this is the scout research tree. It's split into two halves, one for tactical upgrades, one for combat upgrades. These will make a little bit more sense once we get into a map. This is the gunship one, right? There's stuff over on the right-hand side here, right? Then you got escorts. Here's your ranger tree. You got capital ships. Here's your steel-clad trees, and then the cruiser underneath that. And you can kind of navigate around the trees and whatnot. All these things cost some kind of money. I think since we have a steel-clad, can I shield boost 2, accuracy boost? You know what? Let's do cruiser, because I just bought a cruiser, right? Here's my other problem, is that sometimes I don't remember what exactly things I bought, what class, because they tell you on the research it's by type, right? But then you look under your fleet and it doesn't really, you have to click on things to see what type everything is. Like this is a cruiser, so I guess that cruiser will be under the researches for cruisers, I guess. So it's just, again, it's kind of a weird layout for a UI treatment here. But I guess I'm going to give them a damage boost on their autocannon. So that was, how much that cost? A lot. All right, so we're down to 15. All right, so we did our research, so that's something. Now there's our fleet again. So I go to missions, and here's another weird thing about the game. So you always have a story mission to do. And then they give you optional missions. They give you bounty missions and simulary missions. The simulary missions will just give you XP. They'll help your ships actually gain XP, but you won't lose any ships in the process, which is cool because that allows you to kind of grind a little bit and not lose any ships. Problem is that you only get 2 optional deployments. And then once this hits 0, you have to do the story mission. Like it won't let you just go through every one of these things if you want. You just have to go back and do the story mission, which I guess is their way of sort of pushing you along. But at the same time, it's just a very strange thing, right? It's like, why would you not give me the option to grind as much as I want or as little as I want? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like there would be there's a built-in mechanism here to just let me decide if I want to keep grinding or not. But instead they kind of just push you along with this stuff. So, and that includes both bounty and simulary missions. So if I were to run 2 simulary missions just to get some XP, that's it. I have to then do the story mission. So it's like, but if I run bounty missions, I can get the possibility of having additional resources that I can collect. Occasionally, I think there's also a reward where you can get like another ship added to your fleet and all that stuff. So it makes sense to run bounty missions, but of course you're running them for real and you can lose your fleet. The damage, what happens in this game is shields will regenerate after a battle, but shields, I don't know if the shields regenerate during battle or not. I haven't quite figured that one out. But armor does not. So as you take damage, that damage sticks with you until you're done the entire map, and then you're able to repair stuff, assuming you have enough hydrium to do those repairs. Star map, I don't think I mean, this just tells us where we're at here. There's a lot of different areas we can go into. I believe there's a lot of missions in the game. I just will never get to them because it's just, I end up just being, and see, here's the weird loading screen again. Like, why is there a loading screen here? What are you actually loading that you require a loading screen? I've got a, you know, an SSD hard drive that this is running off of, so you shouldn't really be IO bound. So I don't know what's going on there, but you get those weird things like that. So I think what I'm going to do is, so the story missions are voice acted with varying degrees of success. I think what I'd like to do, let's do one of these side missions first. We'll say let's see. This is a harvest resources thing, which is actually kind of neat. It shows you a different way of doing things. There was one that was, this mining guild convoy. This will be interesting because if I'm not mistaken, this one requires you to get at least one ship to a certain point on the map in order to succeed. So that would be kind of cool. This one requires you to pick up a certain amount of hydrium before you're declared the winner. So we might do these two. This one looks like much the same, if I'm not mistaken. But let's do these. Let's do the ambush one. So we'll launch that, and some ships you can't deploy because I think they're story-based ships, so it locks them off from you. Like this is, I believe, the Pandora, right? Yeah, Pandora you can't deploy, and the Rondo you can't deploy on side missions. You can only deploy them on the main mission. So I guess that's mostly to keep you from accidentally losing them on a side mission, and then you can't progress forward on the main missions. So it kind of makes some sense. You see, this is going to cost me 113 proto energy. I always keep forgetting the names here to deploy all these ships, but I feel like I'm going to go in with all guns blazing, because why not? And then after we sit through yet another loading screen. Okay, so far so good. Hex-based battle system, top-down. Although you can use right mouse to sort of look around the whole play field here. What is that over there? Oh, it's proto energy. That's probably the first I've seen proto energy on the map. So you can sort of angle around, but you basically run in a 2D plane. And the ones that are in green, I believe, are mercenary ships. I believe that's why they're green, and then the blue are your faction ships. This really confused me when I first dropped into battle, because I thought that these were enemies, but they're not. Your enemies actually show up in red as they're supposed to, so just to keep that in mind. Biggest beef right now with the game, well, second biggest beef with the game right now. I mentioned initiative, and every ship has some kind of initiative value. All that sort of makes sense, right? It's like, you get into a tactical based game like this, there is a turn order. You can see over here, this is my turn order. The AI is going to run one, I'm going to run this guy, AI is going to run, then this guy goes, then this guy, then this guy, then the AI gets another turn, and then it'll just run through until a round is over. The problem is that at the end of each round, it re-rolls for initiative. So there is no possible way for you, if you're trying to be tactical about stuff, there's no possible way for you to actually be tactical in this game. Because you don't know, when the round ends, you don't know who's going to come next. Right? So in a normal game, in a normal tactical based game, that round order is set at the very beginning. It'll roll for initiative, every initiative gets set up, all the order gets done, and then that's it. You just keep going through in the same order every round until the map is done. This one doesn't do that, and it's a freaking nightmare. On top of that, we'll get on to the next point, but let's do our moves here first. So we've got this wing of ships going right now. The other problem is that I haven't renamed any of these things, so I don't know if these are the... Oh yeah, these are the scouts, because they've got sensor probe. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have them move up here. So I want to point out over here, there's 2 blue balls and a red ball. These tell you how many actions you have remaining. Now I just used a blue ball because there were 3. Blue is your movement. So I know that this guy will have 3 movement rounds in him, 3 movement actions, I should say. And he's got 1 attack action, which doesn't really mean anything to me other than that's when I get to use my sensor probe. So I get to use 1 sensor probe for this turn, but I get to move him twice. Now you can see that we've uncovered a guy up here, an enemy, a Regal Lusts, which doesn't really tell me much about him other than he's got a ton of hit points. What's this say here? It's a pirate steel clad AI, 6 to 10 damage, and he's got a hit chance of 75% and critical chance of 20%, and he's got a bunch of stuff on him. Okay. So what I want to do now, you'll notice as we go near these asteroids here that there are little shield symbols, and these work just like if you've played XCOM or any other tactical based game. It just means that I get full protection from these asteroids in front of me, and I get half protection from the asteroids over here because of the half shield there. This becomes very important, as it would for any tactical game, to be in cover. Unfortunately, this tends to use its cover much like you get cover in, say, an XCOM game where you might think, oh, there's only a 10% chance that the enemy could hit me in this cover, and they then hit you 4 times in a row in that cover. So it's if you're not a fan of that kind of the XCOM level of BS that could happen, you're really going to hate this. as I'm growing to hate it. So what I'm going to do is use my sensor probe and reveal more of the map here so that we can see what we have to do. So what's my objective? Destroy all enemy ships. All civilians must survive. 4 enemy targets still remain. Okay. Okay. So we got 4 enemy targets left. We see 2. So I'm going to scan over here and see if there's more over there. There is not. Okay, so the AI took their turn. And now I've got my other scouts here. Move them up into cover. It's very important to keep these guys away from the fighting as much as possible. Like, these guys are going to be drawn to them like moths to a flame because they're easy pickings. So it's good in a way that you can kind of draw your enemy out here, but then you got to have somebody who could back them up. And these guys can move pretty far since they're just fighters, and trying to keep everyone else up to speed with them is not so easy. So let's go and reveal over here and see if we can find this other enemy. Okay, he's not there. Alright, now our hammerhead here. I believe the green ones now are the civilians that we need to keep. We need to keep them alive, so I'm going to make sure that I can put myself between them and the enemy. So my hammerhead only can move 2 times. Now, there is a thruster ability, which will allow me to get up here a little bit faster, which I'm going to... Whoops, that was the wrong one. It's number 6, not number 5. Number 5 is the targeting computer. It gives me a boost on my hit chance and critical chance. Thrusters are what I wanted. And get him up into some kind of cover here so that he can actually possibly fire off here. I don't think this guy's in range, but I'm going to see. No, I have my missile here that does this damage. Now, the missiles like this that do area damage or area of effect weapons like this will actually destroy the asteroids as well and make it so that the enemy can't hide behind them. So it can be useful from that perspective as well. Let's see. Let's do number 2. Ooh, I get a little bit more range with my seeker missiles, huh? All right, and you also have to be aware that friendly fire applies to this. So since it's a ranged thing, you can actually hit your own guys with it. So you got to be very careful. So let's do that. Fire that off. See if it does any damage. Indeed, you can see it took that guy out of cover, and his shields are down to 9, and his hull went down 1 point. So that's something there. Let's go. Maverick Wing here are my fighter escorts. So we're gonna boost your engines a little bit. Try to get you to catch up here, if at all possible. These guys are going to start coming after us anyway, so keep you going. So you're pretty much good. I mean, I could do the targeting computer on them. Let me do that anyway. The other one is for shields. Their shields are fully charged, so we don't need to worry about charging the shields again. And so I'll just hit enter to clear that turn. Oh, we got AI coming over there from that one little area that I couldn't see. And I see they had missiles too, and they did the same thing to me that I did to them. And now I'm exposed over there. This is where things get to be a little bit BS, because you notice that guy basically came over, one shot, and now he's got these guys down to only 4 hit points. They were at full hit points before, and these guys the shields are almost down and the hit points are already hurt. Like, and this is beginner mode. All right, this is beginner mode. The AI is just way overpowered, just way overpowered. There was the reason why I switched to beginner mode from the normal mode is because I had a mission in normal mode where I moved over a few hexes and it revealed an enemy who was about maybe 10 hexes away, say. And the next, once I finished my actions, the next action that happened was that guy moving, and he not only moved over to my guy from 10 hexes away, but he wiped him out in just one turn. Just wiped him out. And I'm like, this is kind of bullshit. And you're going to see a little bit of that here. Like, you'll lose wings, you'll lose fighters, you'll lose capital ships, like in a blink of an eye, and you had no way to respond to them. There was no way to even try and respond to them. So let's see. We got the Melville here. You've got that. So we got 10% chance of actually hitting this guy. Let's do 1. We'll do this. Get rid of his. So this is a critical. There we go. That's what the critical looks like. Occasionally, sometimes you'll get a critical and it won't do that, but it does that from time to time. So now the hit chance is at 50%. So I'm going to use my autocannon, my number 2 ability here. All right, we wiped them out. That was pretty good. So that worked out for us. So now we got 2 more moves. Let me come over here and see if I can get into this guy's face a little bit. All right, what is this? Heavy torpedo. Oof. I don't remember having a heavy torpedo, but all right. I guess this is the new guy that I just picked up, huh? Newcastle 8. Yeah, he must be the new one. I'm going to bring you over here. And I'm going to just shoot you through the rocks, even though it's only 30%. I'm use my default cannon. Well, actually, I could use this, right? The auto turret. I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference, but 50% chance. All right, better than the 30% I was getting. There we go. So he's hurting a little bit, but not a whole lot. And then these are, I believe, the civilian ships. Yeah, because they have no weapons or anything. So I'm just going to move them over here, away from all the action, if I can. And you're all going to move over here. Might as well pick up the pro energy while we're at it. Well, you've got like a couple different moves you can make. Ain't you fancy? Okay, so now it recalculated all the initiative. So now suddenly we're starting with Spadewing. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but that's really not. I can't. I admit that I don't play a lot of tactical games. I've played a few, but I can't recall any tactical game that's like, yeah, you know what would be a great idea? Completely randomizing the turn order. Yeah, that would be fantastic. You know, that whole idea of being able to plan your next move. Who needs that? It's tactical. I mean, who needs to think in terms of tactics, right? Who needs consistency in their turn order? Only noobs do. That's who. So I'm gonna boost his engines because I want to see if I can get over yonder here and reveal a little bit more of the map. There we go. He's not really a combat thing anyway. So now our other squadron here is in trouble. They're down to 4 hit points, so I'm going to try to move them as far away from all this nonsense as I can. So you're going to come over here and just grab that Hydrium. And then you need to get into some cover, some sort of cover. Although, what is this guy? He's got 139% damage. Oof. So he's like boosted. So he's got still a lot of health left. I could move you twice. So let's come over here and come behind here. And let's charge your shields. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's charge your shields, number 4. There we go. That helps a little bit. And let's do... I don't want to do an area of effect unless I can... Well, I could do an area of effect, couldn't I? Just get the edge of them without taking out the asteroids there. Let's do that. There we go. And then 3... you're out of range of 3, huh? Alright, well, we'll do 2. And we'll do the same thing. There we go. Alright, Maverick Wing. Let's see what I can do for you guys. Let's get you... You know what? I'm going to bring you right up next to the... Well, you got a 61% hit chance, don't you? Let's see if you get hit from here. Yeah, right. 61% my ass. You know what? I'm gonna... this is not a good idea, but I'm going to bring you right over here. Because you get 96% chance now, and just have you pound on them a bit. You're only doing 3 damage, really? Really? That's anemic. But he's running. And he missed, so that's good. Okay. Alright, so you're a good distance away, but I could use the 14 to 22 damage, huh? Well, that might work. He's got his shields back up, right? So, let's see how this works. Direct hit with one of these. Damn! That's a good weapon. That is a good weapon. Let's do this as well, since that's got range. Okay. So far, so good. Now where can I go? How much hit points does he have left? 11? Am I going to do... Well, I'm going to move him over here, even though it's probably not a good idea. And I'm going to try to do this. I got 7 points of damage. That's something, anyway. Alright, you guys just kind of stay down here a little bit. Alright, what do we got now? The Melville? Okay. How many hit points does this guy have? 4? Alright, we should be able to do this guy in, I hope. So let's do this. Indeed. Okay. And then you can Come over here. We'll have to get in range of this guy at some point. And your shields are all healed up, so we don't need to do anything else with you. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to bring this guy over with the other ones. Alright, well, we got two targets left, huh? Alright, where am I at? So we got one that we know about over there. So there's got to be another one hiding about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 1. And I'm going to look over here. See if we uncover this other guy. Nope, not yet. Not yet. Alright, well then we're going to move up this way. And try to find him the old-fashioned way. Gotta be around here somewhere. Okay. Alright, so this guy now, we're going to get you up into some cover. And we're going to take this guy's cover away from him. If we can. And indeed we can. Alright. So what's our... No, they're still too far away for that, huh? Am I too far away for that? Yeah, I am. Okay. Let's see. We got 2 more. Can I do 6 here? Yeah, that's a lot nicer. Although it's only half coverage here. That's fine. Let's just do what we gotta do. Right on the edge of our range. And he missed, but he hit with that one. Okay. All right. So we gotta get as much power behind us as we can. Get out here and do what we do. So 1 right there. There we go. All right. That's about as good as I'm going to get with them. And we're going to come over here a bit. Let's do 1, and let's see if I can find this other guy here. Still nothing. Where the heck is this other... Tell me he's like right up in the corner there. This would not be the first time the enemy's been like way over in the corner of the map and not moving at all. And that proto energy. Okay, let's do a 5 here. Let's get you over to where you're going to be useful to me. I can't reach him from there, huh? Well, that's balls. These guys, I'm just going to leave them where they're at. You're going to go, let's do 4 on you. Let's go grab some of this data. And he's now in range of our heavy autocannon. So let's come up. Yeah, sure. Let's come up here. I know it's kind of exposed, but it doesn't always work. The weird thing about this is you would think I'm totally exposed here, but yet sometimes it's really not. Like, sometimes it just... You're still kind of... They'll still miss you quite a bit. It's a weird, weird phenomenon here. Let's do that. There we go. Aha! There's the AI. He's revealed himself finally. I didn't even see him up there. Alright, so this guy is ready to go. And I can shoot him with my normal stuff. Let's see, 80%. Heavy autocannon only does 2 to 4 damage. What does this guy have? 14, huh? How about this one? What does this do? 6 to 9 damage, okay. And one more, I'll do it. Except we missed. as per usual. All right, I'm leaving this guy here. So now we know where this other enemy is. I'm just going to use these guys then as a means of picking up some resources. Pick up some hydrium, pick up some data. Can use them later on. These guys need to kind of hide a little bit because they're going to draw some attention. So let's have them. Let's have them come over here and just kind of sit there a little bit. All right, how much does this guy have left? 3 hit points. There we go. Took care of that. Alright, you're going to come up here and help out with our defenses over here. And Zen, you're going to stay down there. You're going to... I already used your engine ability, so that's on cooldown. Alright, same with you. Go grab this data. And just kind of hang back a little bit. Okay, so 6 here. Come up this way. And then this way. Let's do targeting computer. And maybe... No, I didn't think that would reach. I think it would reach. Alright. Moving right along here. Yeah, you just go up and grab this stuff. Alright, 5 for you. And that's all you can do because you're too far out of range here. This is most of the game is this. It's just this is why I say it gets ridiculously boring, because it'll just kind of, the AI will just like sit over in the farthest corner of the map and just make you come after them, and not really. I mean, it's just, why is this so drawn out like this? This shouldn't really be. It should be just, you know, they should be relatively close together so that you can get through this relatively quickly. I mean, this is a side mission, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Like, why does a side mission take, you know, 35 minutes to run? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay. So like I said, you see how it randomized all the initiative? Like, all the civilians went early that time. It's just, it's hard to plan what you're going to do because you have no idea who's really going to go next. You know? And what good is that? Yeah, these guys are down to just 4 hit points, huh? Alright, well then, if that's the case, we're just going to come over here. And we're going to use the good old gun on them. And we're going to miss. If you're a fan of the XCOM BS, where it's like 90% chance to hit something and you miss them 3 times in a row, you're going to love this one. You're going to love this game, because that happens all the freaking time in this game. All the time, I say. Alright, over here you go. And 3...
Mission successful.
And there it is. And now it'll tell me how much XP I've gotten for all my guys. These guys have leveled up, the Hammerhead and the Maverick Wing. And then the other ones are just civies that we managed to keep. And we got 210 mission XP for that. Also, we got weak armor piercing ammo, which I can put deploy onto one of my ships. So that shows you 1 round. Do I want to do another mission, or do I want to switch over to the other campaign so you can see what that looks like? Because I have a feeling it's going to run much the same way as this one does. Let's do that. Let's just save this the way it is. Let's go back to the main menu. and let's do a new game. We'll do the Federation campaign. I'm just going to do beginner because the veteran difficulty was just kicking my butt. And we'll do this in a different save slot and see what this campaign looks like.
Finally, an assignment on the frontier. It seems more desolate than I remember. Desolate and beautiful.
Ah, there he is. Ethan, why are you hiding out here by yourself?
Lieutenant Kip? Lieutenant Elena?
No need to be so formal, Ethan. It's going to make a year out here on the back end of nowhere even more unbearable to have you standing on ceremony.
Point taken. I, for one, am looking forward to this tour.
Yeah, I'll bet you are. But we can't all be the new commander's pet boyfriend.
Ooh, I hadn't heard about this. Commander Tara and Ethan, do tell.
Don't tell me you hadn't heard. Our new battle group commander in Stud here had the least secret relationship in the galaxy. Goes all the way back to the academy.
Why does no one tell me these things?
For the rest of us, this assignment is a wasted year. Tours on the frontier is where careers go to die. I, for one, am going to be looking for my first transfer out of here.
Commander!
Commander!
Commander.
Lieutenant.
Commander.
Commander.
Commander. Lieutenant. Commander. Lieutenant. Commander.
Oh, by the machine god, you two are pathetic.
At ease, Lieutenants. Allow me to welcome you all to the frontier. Admiral Alexandra will rendezvous with us at Port Station in 200 hours. She will give you your formal introduction and briefing.
Yes, ma'am.
In the meantime, I will be running an astrograph survey of the local region. We just picked up a civilian distress call nearby, and I need one of you to volunteer and check it out.
So is it in 200 hours or is it at 200 hours? There's a big difference there. Reply 1. Ethan, it's been a while since the crew has been on survey duty. I'd rather get the lay of the land, or I volunteer to take the Fury to investigate the distress calls. I guess I'll take the Fury to investigate the distress calls. Why not?
I volunteer to take the Fury to investigate the distress calls.
Looking to go gallivanting off already? Very well, I'll have the coordinates sent to your compad shortly.
Good going, lover boy. Day 1 and already in the doghouse.
Maybe this tour won't be so boring after all.
Oh, it'll be boring. Trust me. Trust me. It'll be very boring. Alright, so we deploy all of our units, and I assume this counts as a well, it's a green mission, so I guess it's a real mission, but I guess it's more of their first tutorial kind of thing. And I'm just going to launch without going in and buying
There they
research.
Life pods are the source of the distress signal. Let's move in and pick them up before the pod life support system runs out of oxygen.
Tally-ho and pip-pip. Yeah, so I didn't go in. Normally I would go into the, research and start buying research and all that stuff. But there's another one. If I leave that screen and go to research and then come back, there's another loading screen that we have to sit through. So screw it. Let's go and pick these guys up, I guess. Oh, this is the wing. Where are the life pods that he speaks of? Do not know of what he speaks of, or where he speaks of. Oh, over there. See, this is the problem, right? The game will say, "Oh, there's the thing that we're looking for," and you're like, "What?" It doesn't actually show you. It's just like, "Oh, there's a thing." And you're like, "I don't know where you're talking about." So, fed life pod. Okay, so I should be doing 4 for you, right? There we go. There's that one. Now, are there more? You would think there would be more. 4 still needed to collect. Okay, so I gotta find the other 4, which makes sense. Should did a ping before I ended my turn on that guy. Oh well. Oh well. Here. Trying to get as many hexes cleared as we can. What the hell is that? Ion cannon. Oh, okay. Twin pulse laser, targeting computer, thrusters. Alright, let's do thrusters so we can get out and get as much. Oh, there's a life pod. There we go. Still need 3 more, huh? Well, we got a lot of this area cleared. Anyway, a lot of this area explored. One of the side missions, which I think is pretty cool. Some of the variety of the missions is actually really cool. But yes, I get the hint. Like there's one where you have to go around and collect resources, but you also have to scan as many sectors as possible. So you want to fan out and try to get as many hexes explored as you possibly can. And it's kind of nice. I mean, you do fight enemies along the way, but it's kind of nice to see, there's different objectives and all that stuff. So they do have a few good things going for them here. It's just wrapped in an incredibly boring shell. They're very, very gung-ho about the lore in this game, and it's the most bland and boring universe you could ever possibly dream up. And that's a big, that's there's not much you could do to fix that, right? Other than to have gameplay that's not boring, and unfortunately that's what we've got. You could have the least amount of lore possible and still have very compelling gameplay. But they didn't manage to do that even. Let's see how far we can get this guy. Alright, let's make sure we do our scan here. So I guess I'll put a scan right there. Yes, I know. You have to move your pod onto a hex. I get it. Are there no more pods over here? It's like 3 pods left to collect. Like, well, thanks. But where the heck are they? Doesn't look like there's any enemies anyway. There's one over here, obviously. So that's good. At least there's no enemies anyway. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's 2. There's a 3rd one around here somewhere. Probably buried in the corner, because there's not much left over there. Okay. We'll go 4 here. Grab this guy. Mission is timed. Pay attention to the round number at the top right. It is now round 3. You have 7 rounds left to win. Oh, win before life support fails on round 10. Oh, I see. Okay. Alright. Well, thanks for warning me. I guess we'll do 3 here. See if there's another one over in that area. No, there isn't. It's just that one guy over there. So where the hell is the other one? Is it over in? It's got to be over in one of these like freaking corners here, right? It has to be. It has to be. Alright, well, we're going to have you, since you moved the furthest to the fastest, I'm going to have you backtrack. I'm going to have you go after the prize up here. As fast as I can, anyway. Alright, and then you are going to come over and try to reveal some of these empty areas. It's got to be over. It's got to be over in one of these corners. And I can't, unless I went right by it and didn't see it, which is entirely possible because they're like the smallest blips you could possibly have here. You pick up that one. Let's make sure they're not over in that corner. Nope. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Achieved.
Right over there. Okay. you rolling. And we'll get you rolling.
Mission successful.
There it is.
Unlocked.
We
Bonus
got
awarded.
almost, we got some bonus XP too. How about that? And we gained a unit. So sometimes you do gain units as you do things. We got damage targeting array tier 3. Which I don't know. I think you can still, I think you can use that. I don't know if you have to actually research tier 3 research before you can use it or not. I'm not sure exactly how that works. But yeah, now we're starting over again with our fleet and all the different missions and research. You can see bounty missions, simulator missions. I mean, the other problem is these, like, scouts, convoy needs an escort, space anomaly. Like, Space Anomaly 1 is basically run around and get collect as many, uncover as many hexes as you can. There's enemies there you have to avoid, and, well, not avoid, but you have to take out as you go. I mean, it's the same type of missions, and it's nice that there's a variety there, but it's like, I'm guessing that's why they have this limit on how many you could do, because you would very quickly realize that it's always the same thing over and over again. So it's sort of a way of trying to push you along before you realize that there's not much depth here as far as missions go. And the story missions, I mean, I guess later on they might get a little bit interesting. Has not grabbed me from the beginning. You saw some of the voiceover there for the Alliance thing here, or not the Alliance, for the Federation. It was significantly better than the one for the Alliance. The Alliance, it sounds like they use the same voice actors and actresses, but it's even more cringeworthy than what you just saw for this one. So it's kind of the text itself, the dialogue itself is cringeworthy. The acting is not too terrible. It's a little bit phoned in though. And yeah, I mean, the game makes the fatal mistake of just being plain old boring. You know, you sort of have to. Granted, I'm only about 3 hours now playing the game, and it might get better a little bit later on, but I have no desire to make it to that point. You know, you gotta throw me a bone sometime early here. You know, the maps, as you saw, missions kind of overstay their welcome. The AI is usually spread out all across the map to the point where it just becomes a frustration simulator, where it's just like, all right, I'm well done with this thing. Just can we finally just end this mission? That kind of deal. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And there is another actual game from Fairweather Studios that I'm probably going to record a little bit later in the week, where it's another space game, but it's a top to bottom scroller, 2D shoot 'em up. So I might take a look at that as well later this week, just because I hadn't heard of this game company before, and it looks like they've got some good ideas. Their execution is lacking, I think, but the ideas are here. They're certainly on the right track. They just need they need someone to who's actually not going to BS them and tell them, like, someone whose feedback they trust, to just play the games and tell them straight up, like, this sucks, and make them go back and use that as a means to go back and redo it and retool it and things like that. Because it looks to me like they, like I said, all the components are here for a decent game. It's just, it's not quite there, as far as I could tell. Others may have different perspective based on what you've seen here. That's why I do these videos, so everybody can kind of have their own feelings about it and how everything's going. But that has been Ancient Frontier, my friends. It is by Fairweather Studios LLC. It is currently $18.74 US at 25% off in the Steam store. It is fully released. And as always, I will leave links down in the description so you can do your own due diligence. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.